foundation of truth, not a foundation of fiction, which is what the world you're surrounded with is basing its existence on. So anyways, truth is an interesting word. I'm going to take you into Noah Webster's 1828, and it says, truth, it says it is from trust, faith, fidelity, and interesting, it says to marry. Okay? Which it's an interesting definition for that reason. So when we're looking at it's also conformity to fact or reality, and when we go a little bit further down, we get honesty, we get correct, we also get real fact or just principle, real state of things, and it also says basically it relates to a few scriptures that Jesus Christ is called the truth. So you can understand or comprehend that your Christian name would represent truth. It also has to do with good faith. We also have in the fourth definition in the 1828, veracity, purity from falsehood. Okay? So it's interesting, it says purity from falsehood. In the world of legal, we put on a falsehood or wear a mask. And therefore, that covers up the truth so that you do not see the truth. And therefore, you're in legal bondage. You're not free or been liberated from what we call legal or sin or debt. Everything about the legal system basically is about wearing the falsehood that is opposite to the truth. So when we look at, it has faith in there. Now, if I have good faith, then I have God faith, truthful faith, and that means I'd be wearing that in my name. And therefore, your Christian name, because Jesus Christ is truth, and the truth will make you free upon acceptance of him and wearing that highest level of kingdom sovereignty, you are under the highest authority, and therefore you would not be operating in a legal sense, because that would have been literally eliminated by you coming to truth. You would not be walking in Roman legal fiction. When we go to Black's Law Fourth on truth, it states the following. There are three conceptions as to what constitutes truth. It says an agreement of thought and reality. 2, eventual verification. And 3, consistency of thought with itself. So someone would have to walk in that. Then when we go just to the bottom of that definition, it takes us over to fact. And so we're going to go over to fact in Black's Law Fourth, because I think we want to deal with the facts. We don't want to be confused into believing a fact is a fiction, but when you act in fiction, the legal system deems it to be factitious. It's just their version of a fictitious word becoming what seems to take on some kind of concept of fact, and therefore they use a term called factitious at that moment. So we're going to go to fact, and when we get to fact, it's very clear in Black's Law Fourth, surprisingly written by these lawyers, but they do lay out the groundwork that they're only allowed to play within. And it says under the law of evidence, because everything has to be about evidence in a court of law. So we look at it, it says, law of evidence, a circumstance, event, or occurrence as it actually took place, a physical object or appearance as it actually exists or existed, an actual and absolute reality. Now, there are no absolutes in legal. Just remember that. Legal rights are conditional. Only what comes from God, which is truthful and natural, your natural, God-given Christian name, is reality. And it says, as distinguished from mere supposition or opinion. a truth as distinguished from fiction or error. So here's a good example of explaining truth. When you look at the statement of birth record, which is not acceptable for legal identification because it carries truth in it. And where truth is, fiction of law does not exist. So on this particular format, and they did this on the majority, but they may look a little different between the 40s, the 50s, the 1960s, the 70s, but they underlined basically the error on the statement, even though they're marking it down as their legal subject matter. Christ is the subject matter of truth, your God-given, your given name, which is a fact, not a fiction, is the subject matter of truth. In fiction, the legal state assigned surname, or what is implied to be assigned upon you, or hoping that you will take it on, it's just offered. It's not something that is actually really given. It's not really gifted to you. It's just in a format of being assigned and hopeful that you will act upon it at age of election, legal election, and literally push play in the subject matter of debt. So this is just a framing. You can notice it's just a frame. They're just framing. It's just an accusation. They put an accusation over the child's head as if a child could ever respond to this. And then they just wait to see if you act on the accusation. In most cases, they have actually been very successful with their leader. We're talking about the legalists, the lawyers, the bar associations, the devil's advocates, who actually support basically a right to do wrong so that they can collect and run a business off of this. So